Welcome. You've arrived beneath the jasmine sky. Not a name, not a person, but the scent of soft white blossoms that drift through the garden air. Gentle, familiar, timeless. This is not a tale of action or urgency, but a quiet journey into stillness, where a reclusive poet walks, writes, and wanders beneath starlight and blooming vines. Let the rhythm carry you. Chapter 1. Waking under the canopy of jasmine. You wake to the soft rustle of jasmine petals around your window. The morning light filters through the delicate white flowers that cascade down the stone wall of your garden retreat. Each petal catches the golden rays of dawn and holds them like tiny cups of honey-colored warmth. Your eyes open slowly, peacefully, to the sound of nightingales singing their ancient songs in the pomegranate trees. The same melodies that have awakened Persian poets for 1,000 years. The same gentle chorus that once stirred the heart of Hafez in his beloved Shiraz. You breathe in deeply, and the scent of jasmine fills your lungs, sweet and clean and infinitely calming. This is the fragrance that Persian poets called the breath of paradise, the flower that blooms only at night, releasing its perfume into the cool air. A gift for those who seek beauty in quiet moments. Your bed is simple, a low wooden frame covered with carpets woven in the tradition of Kashan. The patterns beneath you tell stories in silk and wool. Geometric roses that spiral endlessly inward, symbolizing the infinite nature of divine love. Each knot was tied by skilled hands, each thread dyed with saffron and madder root, colors that have adorned Persian homes since the time of the Sassanid kings. The stone floor beneath your feet is cool, smooth limestone quarried from the mountains near Isfahan, the same stone that built the great mosques and palaces of the Persian Empire. Now it serves as the foundation for your simple dwelling, a place where poetry lives and breathes. You sit up slowly, allowing your body to wake naturally. There is no rush here, no urgency, only the gentle rhythm of a life lived in harmony with the garden's quiet wisdom. Through your window, you can see the courtyard where you spend your days, a traditional Persian garden laid out in the ancient Chahar Bagh pattern, 4 sections divided by channels of clear water, representing the 4 rivers of paradise described in the Quran. The design is older than Islam itself, created by Zoroastrian gardens that sought to mirror the cosmic order on Earth. The water moves slowly through these channels, bubbling softly over smooth pebbles. The sound is like whispered prayers, like the murmur of scholars in the libraries of Baghdad during the Golden Age, when Persian poets and Arab mathematicians shared their wisdom beneath similar jasmine-scented skies. You stand and walk to the window, your bare feet silent on the cool stone. The jasmine vine that frames your view was planted by the previous owner of this retreat, an elderly calligrapher who spent his final years perfecting the art of writing Rumi's verses in the flowing Nastaliq script. His hands shaped these vines, just as they shaped the letters that spelled out divine love, both growing slowly, both requiring patience and daily care. The morning air touches your face, carrying with it the scent of other flowers beginning to wake. Rosa Damascena, the Damascus rose that Persian perfumers have treasured for centuries. Its petals will be gathered later by the village women to create rose water for tea and cooking. But for now, they simply add their fragrance to the garden's gentle symphony. You hear the distant sound of the water wheel at the village well, its wooden paddles turning steadily, lifting water from deep in the earth to nourish the fields of barley and wheat. The same technology that Persian engineers developed 1,000 years ago, still serving the people of this valley, still marking the passage of time with its rhythmic creaking. A hoopoe bird lands on the windowsill, its crest raised in greeting. In Persian poetry, the hoopoe is the messenger between the earthly and divine realms, the guide who leads seekers to the truth. This small visitor regards you with bright eyes, then flies away toward the apricot trees, leaving behind only the gentle stirring of air. You breathe deeply again, filling your lungs with the garden's perfume. Your body feels rested, your mind clear and peaceful. The sleep you've awakened from was filled with dreams of floating on clouds made of jasmine petals, of walking through gardens where every flower spoke in verses of love and longing. The light grows stronger now, painting the garden walls in shades of gold and amber. The same light that illuminated the manuscripts of Omar Khayyam as he wrote his Rubaiyat, the same sun that warmed the courtyards of Samarkand when Persian traders brought silk and spices along the great routes. You can see your writing desk from here, positioned beneath the spreading branches of an ancient plane tree. The desk is carved from walnut wood, its surface worn smooth by years of use. Upon it rest your tools, reed pens cut from the shores of the Caspian Sea, ink made from oak galls and iron, paper crafted from cotton and flax, in the traditional method passed down through generations of Persian scribes. The sight of these tools fills you with quiet anticipation. Soon you will take up your pen, dip it in the dark ink, and allow words to flow onto the page like water through the garden channels. But for now, you simply stand and breathe, allowing the morning to unfold at its own gentle pace. A butterfly alights on the jasmine vine, its wings painted in shades of blue and gold, the colors of lapis lazuli and illuminated manuscripts. It moves from flower to flower with delicate precision, just as your thoughts will soon move from word to word, creating beauty through careful attention to each small detail. The village is waking now. You can hear the soft voices of children playing in the distance, the gentle lowing of cattle being led to pasture, the rhythmic thump of grain being ground in stone mortars. These sounds blend with the garden's music, creating a symphony of daily life that has changed little since the days of the great Persian poets. You think of Saadi, the master poet of Shiraz, who wrote, "The human being is a part of the whole, called by us, universe." His words echo in your mind as you stand here, surrounded by the interconnected beauty of stone and water, flower and light, breath and heartbeat. The morning breeze stirs the jasmine vine, sending more petals drifting down like tiny white prayers. Some land on your shoulders, some on the stone floor, all of them carrying the essence of the night's peace into the new day. You close your eyes and listen, really listen, to the layers of sound that surround you. The water in the channels, the leaves rustling in the breeze, the distant call of a muezzin from the village mosque, the soft cooing of doves in the eaves of your roof. Each sound is a word in the vocabulary of peace. Your breathing deepens, becomes more rhythmic, matching the gentle pulse of the garden's life. You feel yourself becoming part of this ancient pattern, this daily ritual of awakening that connects you to all the poets and mystics who have sought truth in the beauty of Persian gardens. The jasmine petals continue to fall, each one a small blessing. A reminder that beauty exists in the simplest moments, in the quiet space between sleep and waking, in the soft light that turns ordinary stone into something precious. You open your eyes slowly and smile. Today will be a day of gentle discoveries, of words that come like gifts, of moments that stretch like honey from the spoon. The garden is ready. The morning is ready. And you are ready to begin again the eternal dance of poet and muse. Your feet carry you back to your bed, where you sit cross-legged on the soft carpets. The geometric patterns beneath you seem to pulse with life. Roses blooming in endless spirals, cypress trees reaching toward heaven, all woven by hands that understood the sacred geometry of paradise. You place your palms on your knees and close your eyes once more, allowing the garden's peace to settle into your bones. The jasmine scent grows stronger, more present, as if the flowers are blessing this moment of quiet preparation. Your breath becomes even deeper, more intentional. Each inhalation brings the garden's life into your body. Each exhalation releases any remaining traces of sleep's confusion. You are becoming fully present, fully awake, fully ready for the day's gentle journey. The morning light continues to strengthen, but it remains soft, filtered through the jasmine canopy, creating patterns of light and shadow that dance across your closed eyelids. These patterns remind you of the Arabic calligraphy you studied in your youth, flowing letters that spelled out the names of God. Each curve and line, a meditation on divine beauty. You can feel your heart beating slowly, steadily, in rhythm with the garden's pulse. The same heart that has carried you through years of seeking, of learning, of discovering that the greatest truths are often found in the simplest pleasures, in the scent of jasmine, in the sound of water over stone, in the gentle persistence of morning light. A cat appears at your window, gray and white like the marble of Persian palaces. It regards you with green eyes full of ancient wisdom, then settles on the windowsill to begin its morning grooming. Another guardian of the garden's peace, another reminder that all beings have their place in the cosmic pattern. The sound of the cat's purring blends with the garden's other music, creating a harmony that seems to vibrate in your chest. You feel yourself smiling, a deep contentment spreading through your body like warm honey. You know that soon you will rise. We'll begin the day's activities. We'll take up your pen and paper. But for now, you simply sit and breathe and allow the jasmine-scented morning to fill every corner of your being. The petals continue to fall, each one perfect, each one temporary, each one a teacher of the beauty that exists in letting go. You watch them drift past your window, white against the blue of morning sky, like letters in a language you're only beginning to understand. Your eyelids grow heavy, not with sleep, but with the weight of perfect peace. The garden holds you in its embrace. The jasmine whispers its secrets, and you rest in this moment, suspended between the night's dreams and the day's possibilities. The morning light grows warmer, more golden, painting everything it touches with the glow of infinite gentleness, including you, sitting here in your simple retreat, surrounded by the eternal beauty of the Persian garden, breathing in the scent of jasmine, breathing out gratitude. And slowly, Peacefully, you begin to let this perfect morning carry you forward into the day's gentle unfolding, into the next chapter of your quiet journey, beneath the jasmine sky. Chapter 2. Wandering through the garden of thought. You rise from your carpet-covered bed, and your feet find the cool stone floor. The morning light has settled into that perfect golden hour when everything seems touched by divine grace. You walk slowly toward the wooden door, its surface carved with the traditional tree of life pattern. Pomegranates and cypress trees intertwined, symbols of fertility and eternal life that Persian artisans have carved for over 1,000 years. Your hand traces the familiar grooves as you push the door open. The garden greets you with a symphony of gentle sounds. Water trickling through the ancient channels. Birds calling from the fruit trees. Leaves rustling in the morning breeze that carries the scent of jasmine and roses across the courtyard. You step onto the worn stone path. These stones were laid by craftsmen from Isfahan, each one cut to fit perfectly with its neighbors, creating a walkway that has guided footsteps for generations. The same technique used in the courtyards of the great Persian palaces, where poets once walked while composing verses that would outlive empires. Your bare feet feel the texture of the stones, smoothed by countless footsteps, warmed by the gentle morning sun. Each step connects you to the earth, to the garden, to the long tradition of Persian poets who found their inspiration in the simple act of walking among flowers. The path leads you first to the central fountain, where 4 channels meet in the traditional Chahar Bagh design. The fountain is carved from a single block of marble, its surface worn smooth by centuries of flowing water. In the center, a small jet of water rises and falls in a rhythm as steady as breathing. You pause here and place your hands on the fountain's edge. The marble is cool against your palms, and you can feel the gentle vibration of the water as it moves through the channels. This is the heart of the garden, the place where all paths converge, where the element of water brings life to every corner of this small paradise. The water speaks in soft whispers, telling stories of the snow that melted in distant mountains, of the journey through underground channels, of the careful engineering that brings this gift to your garden. Persian water engineers, or qanat builders, perfected this art over 2,000 years ago, creating underground channels that still provide water to cities across the Middle East. You cup your hands and lift the cool water to your face, letting it wash away the last traces of sleep. The water tastes of minerals and mountain air, of the purity that comes from deep places in the earth. As you drink, you think of the Persian poets who wrote about water as the source of all life, all poetry, all divine inspiration. From the fountain, you follow the path that leads toward the rose garden. Here, the Damascus roses are beginning to open their petals to the morning sun. Each flower is a masterpiece of natural geometry. Layers of silk-soft petals arranged in perfect spirals, releasing their fragrance into the warm air. You lean down to inhale the scent of a particularly beautiful rose, pink tinged with gold at the edges. The fragrance is complex, sweet but not cloying, with hints of spice and honey. This is the scent that Persian perfumers have captured in their rosewater for centuries. The essence used in everything, from cooking to religious ceremonies. The rose garden is laid out in the traditional Persian pattern. Geometric beds separated by narrow channels of water. Each bed contains a different variety of rose, some deep red, like the carpets of Kashan. Your window. You walk slowly between the beds, your fingertips trailing along the leaves, feeling the texture of each plant. The rose bushes here are old, some planted decades ago by the previous owner, their roots deep in the rich soil that Persian gardeners have cultivated for generations. The path curves gently toward the herb garden, where mint and basil grow alongside the traditional Persian herbs used in cooking and medicine. Here grows pennyroyal, used to make the digestive tea that Persian families have shared for centuries. And here, the delicate leaves of tarragon, prized by Persian cooks for its subtle anise flavor. You pause to crush a few mint leaves between your fingers, releasing their fresh, clean scent into the morning air. The aroma is instantly awakening, but in a gentle way, like the herbs that Persian physicians used to balance the humors of the body, creating harmony between mind and spirit. The herb garden leads to the section where fruit trees grow, ancient apricot trees with branches heavy with developing fruit. Their leaves create a canopy of green shade, dappled with golden light that moves and shifts as the breeze stirs the branches. You walk beneath these trees and feel the peace that comes from being surrounded by growing things. The apricot trees here are descended from varieties that grew in the royal gardens of Persepolis, varieties that Persian traders carried along the Silk Road to distant lands. One branch hangs low enough for you to touch, and you run your fingers along its bark, feeling the texture of the tree's skin, rough in some places, smooth in others, marked by the seasons of growth and rest that have shaped this living sculpture. The sound of bees working among the flowers creates a gentle harmony, their buzzing a constant undertone to the garden's music. These bees will create honey, flavored with jasmine and rose, the same honey that Persian poets wrote about as the sweetness of divine love made manifest in the world. You continue walking, following the path as it curves toward the back wall of the garden, where climbing vines create a living tapestry of green and gold, grapevines that will produce fruit for the autumn harvest, jasmine that blooms throughout the warm months, and climbing roses that add their fragrance to the jasmine's perfume. Here, against the wall, stands a small pavilion, its roof supported by slender columns carved in the traditional style. The pavilion faces east, toward the rising sun, and is positioned to catch the morning light while remaining shaded during the heat of the day. You step into the pavilion and settle cross-legged on the carpet that covers its floor. From here, you can see the entire garden spread out before you. The geometric patterns of the plantings, the channels of water catching the light, the fountain at the center sending its gentle spray into the air. This is where you come to think, to let your mind wander among the flowers and trees, to allow inspiration to find you in the gentle rhythm of the garden's life. The same kind of inspiration that visited Rumi when he walked in the gardens of Konya, or Hafez when he sat beneath the cypress trees of Shiraz. You close your eyes and listen to the garden's conversation. Water speaking to stone, leaves whispering to the wind. flowers sharing their secrets with the bees. All of it a vast poem written in the language of growth and beauty and time. The morning sun climbs higher, and the light in the pavilion grows warmer, more golden. You can feel it on your face, gentle and nurturing, like the attention of a loving teacher, guiding you toward understanding without forcing, without urgency. A memory surfaces in your mind of the first time you read Sadi's Gulistan, the Rose Garden. His words about the garden as a metaphor for the human heart. How he wrote that a rosebud in the garden of the heart is better than a rose garden, meaning that the capacity for love within us is more precious than all the beauty of the external world. But sitting here, surrounded by this living beauty, you understand that the external garden and the internal garden are not separate. They are reflections of each other. The peace you feel here nurtures the peace within. The beauty you see here awakens the beauty within. The love you feel for this place expands the love within your heart. The breeze carries the scent of jasmine from your window, mixing with the rose fragrance from the garden beds, creating a perfume that seems to contain all the sweetness of the morning. You breathe it in deeply, letting it fill your lungs, your bloodstream, your entire being. Your thoughts begin to drift, like the petals that float on the water channels, moving slowly, without effort, carried by currents you cannot see but can trust. This is the state of mind that Persian poets called hal, the mystical state where inspiration flows freely, where the boundary between the self and the divine becomes permeable. You think of the verses you've written in this garden, words that came to you while walking these paths, metaphors that bloomed like flowers in the fertile soil of contemplation, lines about the beloved, about longing, about the way morning light transforms everything it touches into something sacred. The garden holds all of these words, all of these moments of inspiration, in its living memory. The trees have heard your whispered verses. The flowers have witnessed your tears of joy when the perfect metaphor revealed itself. The water has carried away your sorrows and returned them as the sound of peace. You open your eyes and look again at the garden spread before you. Each plant, each stone, each drop of water is exactly where it needs to be. Nothing is random here. Everything has its place in the greater pattern, just as each word in a poem has its place in the greater meaning. The sun climbs higher still, and the shadows begin to shift. The morning is moving toward its next phase, but there is no hurry, no pressure, only the gentle progression of light and shade, of growth and rest, of breathing in and breathing out. You stand slowly, feeling the carpet beneath your feet, the solid earth beneath the pavilion, the vast sky above the garden walls. You are part of this pattern, this ancient rhythm of Persian garden life, connected to all the poets and mystics who have found truth in beauty, peace in simplicity, love in the patient tending of growing things. The path calls you forward, deeper into the garden, toward new discoveries, new moments of quiet revelation. You step out of the pavilion, and your feet find the worn stones again, carrying you forward into the unfolding morning. The jasmine releases another shower of petals, white flowers drifting down like blessings, like tiny prayers answered, like the beginning of understanding that grows slowly, patiently, in the fertile soil of attention. You breathe deeply and smile. The garden has shared its wisdom with you once again, taught you that peace is not something to be achieved, but something to be inhabited. Like a house built of morning light and jasmine-scented air, And slowly, peacefully, you continue your walk, letting the garden's gentle rhythm carry you forward into the next moment and the next. Each step, a meditation. Each breath, a prayer. Each heartbeat, a note in the eternal song of jasmine and roses, of water and stone, of earth and sky. The morning light grows stronger, more golden, and you walk on, surrounded by beauty, held by peace, breathing in the scent of jasmine, breathing out gratitude, your thoughts flowing like water through the ancient channels, clear and purposeful and endlessly renewed. Chapter 3. Writing by the lantern's glow. You walk slowly back toward your writing desk, the one positioned beneath the ancient plane tree. Its broad leaves create a canopy of green shade, filtering the morning light into patterns that dance across the worn wooden surface. The desk itself is a work of art, carved from walnut wood by craftsmen from Kerman. Its surface inlaid with mother-of-pearl in the traditional arabesque patterns, flowing vines and geometric flowers that seem to move in the shifting light, the same patterns that adorned the manuscripts of Persian poets for centuries. You settle onto the silk cushion that serves as your chair, feeling the familiar comfort of this daily ritual. The cushion is filled with dried jasmine petals, a technique Persian scribes used to surround themselves with inspiring fragrance while they worked. Each time you sit, the gentle pressure releases the flowers' perfume into the air. Before you on the desk are arranged your writing tools, each one chosen with care, crafted by masters of their trade. The reed pens, or column, are cut from reeds that grow along the shores of the Caspian Sea, their tips shaped with the precision that Persian calligraphers have perfected over 1,000 years. You lift one of the pens, feeling its weight in your fingers, light enough to move freely across the page, substantial enough to create the flowing lines that transform thought into visible beauty. The reed is hollow, like the mystic's heart that Rumi wrote about, empty of self so that divine inspiration can flow through it. The ink rests in a small ceramic pot, deep blue-black like the night sky, made from oak galls and iron, mixed with gum arabic and water according to the ancient formula. The same ink that recorded the verses of Omar Khayyam, the wisdom of Al-Ghazali, the love songs of Hafez. You dip the pen into the ink, watching as the liquid climbs the hollow reed, drawn upward by the same mysterious force that draws water through the stems of flowers. The ink is ready, dark and smooth, eager to become words on the waiting page. The paper before you is handmade, crafted from cotton and flax in the traditional Persian method. Its surface is smooth, but not slick, with just enough texture to catch the ink without bleeding. The same paper that Persian poets used to preserve their thoughts for future generations. You hold the pen poised above the page, breathing in the jasmine-scented air, feeling the gentle breeze that stirs the leaves above you. This is the moment of beginning, when the vast possibility of the blank page awaits the first mark, the first word, the first line of whatever poem wants to be born. The lantern beside your desk flickers gently, even though the morning sun provides abundant light. You keep it burning because there is something about the warm glow of flame that helps words flow. The lantern is brass, decorated with pierced geometric patterns that cast intricate shadows on the desk surface. The flame dances slightly in the breeze, its light mixing with the natural sunlight to create a warmth that seems to emanate from the page itself. This is the same warm light that illuminated the scriptorium of the House of Wisdom in Baghdad, where Persian and Arab scholars worked side by side to preserve and expand human knowledge. You close your eyes for a moment and let your mind settle into the rhythm of the garden. Water flowing through channels, leaves rustling in the breeze, birds calling from the fruit trees, all of it a vast symphony that your words will join, adding their small music to the eternal song of beauty. When you open your eyes, the first word is waiting on your tongue, ready to flow through the pen onto the page. You begin to write, slowly, deliberately, each letter formed with the care that Persian calligraphers call the patience of love. The pen moves across the page in the flowing Nastaliq script, each curve and line a meditation on the beauty of written language. The same script that Mir Ali Tabrizi perfected in the 14th century. The pen moves across the page in the flowing Nastaliq script, each curve and line a meditation on the beauty of written language. Teaching scribes to see each letter as a prayer made visible, you write about the morning light, how it transforms the jasmine flowers into cups of gold, how it reveals the sacred geometry hidden in the rose petals, how it makes the ordinary stones of the garden path seem like precious gems. The words flow easily, without effort, as if they have been waiting in the garden's memory for you to discover them. This is the gift of writing in a place of peace, where the mind can release its grip on struggle and allow inspiration to move freely. You pause to dip the pen again, watching the ink climb the reed, feeling the slight vibration of the flame in the lantern. The pause is part of the rhythm, like the silence between musical notes that gives them meaning. Persian poets understood that emptiness is as important as fullness, that the spaces between words carry their own wisdom. The next lines write themselves, verses about the fountain at the garden's heart, how its water speaks in whispers of the mountain snow, how it carries the minerals of deep earth to nourish the roots of roses, how it reflects the sky like a mirror made of liquid light. Your hand moves in the rhythm of breath, inhaling as you consider the next word, exhaling as you write it. The pen becomes an extension of your thoughts. Your thoughts become an extension of the garden's wisdom. The boundary between writer and written disappears like morning mist. The plane tree above you rustles its leaves, and a few drop onto the desk. Their green presence among the words seems perfectly natural, as if the tree itself is collaborating in the poem's creation. Persian poets often wrote about this partnership between human creativity and natural beauty. You incorporate the fallen leaves into your verse, writing about how the tree offers its own commentary on the morning's beauty, how its roots drink from the same water that feeds the fountain, how its branches reach toward the same sky that holds the jasmine-scented air. The sun climbs higher, and the light through the leaves creates an ever-changing pattern of brightness and shadow across the page. The words seem to dance in this shifting light, alive with the movement of the garden itself. You write about the bees working among the flowers, their ancient partnership with the roses, how they transform nectar into honey, just as poets transform experience into verse. The same sweet exchange that Persian mystics saw as a metaphor for the soul's relationship with the divine. The ink flows darkly against the cream-colored paper, creating a contrast that pleases the eye. the same aesthetic sense that Persian artists brought to their miniature paintings, where every element serves both beauty and meaning. You pause to read what you've written, the words flowing back into your mind like water returning to its source. The verse captures something essential about the morning, something that will remain true long after this particular morning has passed into memory. The lantern flame flickers more strongly, as if responding to the words on the page. The light creates a circle of warmth around your writing space, a sacred precinct where poetry lives and breathes. The same kind of sacred space that Persian poets created wherever they worked. You continue writing, adding verses about the herb garden, how the mint releases its essence when touched, how the basil holds the memory of summer sunshine in its leaves, how each plant contributes its own note to the garden's symphony of scent. The pen moves more freely now, warmed by use, the ink flowing smoothly as your thoughts flow. There is no struggle, no forcing, only the gentle persistence of water finding its way through stone, the same persistence that Persian poets brought to their craft. You write about the climbing vines on the garden wall, how they reach toward the light with patient determination, how they transform the hard stone into something soft and living, how they teach the lesson of gradual growth that leads to lasting beauty. The morning breeze carries the scent of jasmine more strongly now, as if the flowers are reading over your shoulder, approving of your words. The fragrance seems to inspire new metaphor, beauty, and divine love. You write about the pavilion where you sat earlier, how it frames the garden's beauty without containing it, how its open design allows the breeze to flow freely, how it serves as a threshold between the cultivated garden and the wild sky. The words continue to flow, each one choosing its place in the line, each line finding its rhythm in the stanza. The poem is growing like a plant, organically, according to its own inner logic, the same natural process that Persian poets trusted more than any artificial technique. You pause to appreciate the page before you, the dark ink on light paper, the careful spacing between words, the way the script flows like a river of meaning. This is the visual poetry that Persian calligraphers perfected, where the beauty of the writing enhances the beauty of the words. The sun reaches its zenith, and the light becomes more direct, more intense. But beneath the plane tree's canopy, the writing space remains comfortable, protected, perfect for the delicate work of capturing morning's beauty in words. You write about the water channels, how they carry the fountain's gift to every corner of the garden, how they connect the rose beds to the herb garden, how they create a network of life that mirrors the way poetry connects all human experience. The final verses come quickly, as if they have been waiting for their moment. You write about the cycle of the garden, how each morning brings new flowers, new light, new possibilities for wonder, how the eternal returns in endless variation, like the themes of Persian poetry that find fresh expression in each poet's voice. You set down the pen and look at the completed poem. The words rest on the page like flowers in a garden, each one contributing to the whole. The ink is still wet in places, dark and richly fertile soil, The lantern flame burns steadily, casting its warm light over the finished work. The poem seems to glow with its own inner light, the same light that Persian poets believed came from the divine spark within all true art. You breathe deeply, feeling the satisfaction of work well done. The poem captures something essential about this morning, this garden, this moment of perfect peace. It will preserve the jasmine scent long after the flowers have fallen. The morning light, long after the sun has set. The garden around you seems to approve. The fountain murmurs its ancient psalm. The roses release their perfume. The jasmine petals drift down like blessings. All of it a celebration of the morning's beauty made permanent in words. You lean back on your cushion, feeling the dried jasmine petals release their scent. The poem is complete, but the morning continues, full of new possibilities, new moments of beauty waiting to be discovered. The pen rests beside the inkwell, ready for the next inspiration. The paper waits for tomorrow's words. The garden holds its secrets, patient and generous, knowing that beauty shared is beauty multiplied. And slowly, peacefully, you feel the gentle tiredness that comes after creative work. The kind of tiredness that Persian poets called the exhaustion of angels. The weariness of having touched something infinite and brought it back to earth. The ink dries slowly in the worn air, setting the words permanently on the page. The poem joins the long tradition of Persian poetry, adding its small voice to the eternal song of jasmine and roses, of morning light and garden peace. Your eyelids grow heavy, not with sleep, but with the weight of completion. The lantern flame flickers gently, the jasmine scent grows stronger, and you rest in the satisfaction of words well chosen, of beauty preserved. Chapter 4. Tea and Poetry Beneath the Apricot Tree. You set aside your pen and paper, the morning's verses complete, resting on the desk like flowers that have just bloomed. The ink is drying slowly in the warm air, setting your words permanently in the flowing script that Persian poets have used for centuries. The sun has climbed higher now, casting longer shadows beneath the ancient apricot tree, its branches heavy with developing fruit. Small green orbs that will ripen to golden sweetness in the weeks to come. The same variety of apricot that grew in the royal gardens of Isfahan, prized for their delicate flavor and honeyed fragrance. You rise from your writing cushion, feeling the gentle stiffness that comes from sitting in contemplation. Your body moves slowly, without hurry, still attuned to the peaceful rhythm of the garden's morning. The silk cushion retains the impression of your presence, and the dried jasmine petals within release their scent as they settle. From a wooden shelf beside your writing desk, you take the tea service, a beautiful set crafted by the master potters of Mashhad. The teapot is glazed in deep blue, decorated with gold calligraphy that spells out verses from Hafiz about the intoxication of divine love. The tea glasses are delicate, their surfaces etched with rose patterns that catch and scatter light. You carry the tea service to the low table beneath the apricot tree, placing it carefully on the carpet that covers the ground. The carpet is old but well-maintained, its patterns telling stories of hunting scenes and garden paradises, woven by nomadic tribes who carried their art across the steppes of Central Asia. The preparation of tea is itself a meditation, a ritual that Persian families have practiced for generations, You begin by rinsing the teapot with hot water from the samovar. The brass samovar stands nearby, its surface polished to mirror brightness, heated by charcoal that burns with the clean scent of dots. Mountain pine. The water from the samovar is perfectly heated, not quite boiling, the temperature that Persian tea masters call the breath of the phoenix. Hot enough to awaken the tea leaves, gentle enough to preserve their delicate essence. You pour the water into the teapot, watching the steam rise in delicate spirals. The tea you use is grown in the mountains of Gilan, where the climate is perfect for cultivating the small leaf varieties that Persian tea drinkers prefer. The leaves are dark and twisted, holding within them the essence of mountain mist and morning dew. When you add them to the hot water, they begin to unfurl like tiny flowers blooming in reverse. While the tea steeps, you prepare the accompaniments. A small silver bowl filled with sugar cubes, each one formed from the pure cane sugar that Persian merchants brought from India along the ancient trade routes. The sugar dissolves slowly in the hot tea, sweetening it with the patience that all good things require. You also prepare a small pitcher of rose water, made from the Damascus roses that bloom in your garden. The rose water is clear as crystal, but carries within it the concentrated essence of 1,000 rose petals. A few drops will transform the tea into something magical, something that speaks of Persian gardens and ancient hospitality. There are also dried mint leaves, picked from your herb garden and preserved in the traditional way, hung in small bundles from the kitchen rafters until they become crisp and aromatic. The mint will add its cool freshness to the tea, balancing the warmth of the liquid with the coolness of the morning breeze. You settle cross-legged on the carpet beneath the apricot tree, feeling the soft wool beneath you. The tree's canopy filters the sunlight into patterns that dance across the tea service, creating a natural cathedral of light and shadow. The same dappled light that Persian poets wrote about as the calligraphy of heaven. A tea is ready now, steeped to the perfect amber color that Persian tea drinkers call the heart of the pomegranate. You pour it slowly into one of the delicate glasses, watching the liquid catch the light like liquid gold. The aroma rises with the steam, earthy and complex, carrying hints of the mountain soil where the tea plants grow. You add a cube of sugar, watching it dissolve slowly, then a few drops of rose water. The fragrance that rises from the glass is intoxicating, a perfect blend of tea and roses, of earth and heaven, of simple pleasure and profound contentment. The first sip is a revelation, warm and sweet and floral. The taste unfolds slowly on your tongue, revealing layers of flavor like a poem reveals layers of meaning. This is the tea that Persian poets drank while composing their verses, a same-worn comfort that fueled centuries of creativity. You reach for a small volume of poetry, one of your treasured books. The pages are yellowed with age, the binding worn soft from handling. This is your collection of Sadi's Gulistan, the Rose Garden, written in the 13th century by the master poet of Shiraz. You open the book randomly, letting it fall open where it will, trusting that the right words will appear at the right moment. This is how Persian poets often approached their reading, believing that the universe has a way of providing exactly what the soul needs. The page reveals one of Sadi's most beloved passages, about the morning in the garden, about the way dewdrops on rose petals reflect the entire sky, about how the smallest manifestation of beauty contains the whole of divine love. You read the verses aloud, softly, letting the words mingle with the tea's steam. Your voice carries the rhythms of classical Persian poetry, the same rhythms that have been chanted in gardens like this one for 800 years. The words seem to resonate with the garden itself, the roses nodding in approval, the fountain echoing the verse's cadence. You pause to sip your tea again, and the warmth spreads through your body like liquid contentment. The rose water has perfumed the tea with the essence of your garden, creating a perfect circle of beauty. You return to the book, finding another passage that speaks to this moment. Sadi's words about the pleasure of solitude in a beautiful place, about how the soul expands when surrounded by growing things, about the way poetry and gardens nourish each other like lovers. The tea grows cooler as you read, but its fragrance remains strong, mixing with the jasmine scent from your window, the rose perfume from the garden beds, the fresh green smell of the apricot leaves. All of it combining into the unique atmosphere of this place, this moment, this perfect intersection of poetry and peace. You close the book for a moment and simply sit, feeling the weight of the tea glass in your hands, the warmth of the liquid against your palms, the soft pressure of the carpet beneath you. This is meditation in its purest form, complete attention to the present moment. A butterfly lands on the edge of your tea glass, its wings painted in blue and gold. It sips delicately from the condensation on the glass's rim, sharing your refreshment with the trust that exists between all creatures in a peaceful garden. You remain very still, honoring this small visitor's presence. The butterfly's wings catch the filtered sunlight, creating tiny rainbows that dance across the tea service. A living mandala of color and light, reminding you that beauty appears in the most unexpected moments, when you're quiet enough to notice, still enough to receive. After a few moments, the butterfly flies away, leaving behind only the memory of its visit and the knowledge that you have been blessed by one of the garden's smallest ambassadors. You take another sip of tea, and the flavor seems enhanced by this brief encounter with wonder. You open the book again to a passage about the interconnectedness of all things, how the rose depends on the earth depends on the rain depends on the sea depends on the sun, and the sun depends on the love that moves all things. The same love that brought you to this garden, to this moment, to this perfect cup of tea. The words on the page seem to glow with their own inner light, the same light that illuminates the garden around you. You realize that you are reading not just with your eyes, but with your entire being, letting the poetry soak into your soul like rain into thirsty soil. The tea is cooling now, but it remains delicious, the flavors becoming more subtle, more nuanced, as the temperature drops. Like a piece of music that reveals new harmonies with each listening, the tea rewards patient attention with deepening pleasure. You read another passage about the garden as a mirror of the human heart, how both require careful tending, daily attention, the removal of weeds, the cultivation of beauty. The same wisdom that Persian gardeners and Persian poets have shared for centuries. The morning light shifts as the sun climbs higher, and the shadows beneath the apricot tree grow shorter. But the quality of light remains gentle, filtered through the leaves into patterns that seem to dance in rhythm with the words on the page. You close your eyes and recite from memory some of the verses you wrote this morning, letting them join the conversation between your thoughts and Sadi's words, the new poetry and the ancient wisdom speaking to each other across the centuries, united by the common experience of finding truth in beauty. The tea is finished now, the last drop sweet, with dissolved sugar and rose water. You set the empty glass on the table and seal the satisfaction that comes from a small ritual completed with full attention. The same satisfaction that Persian tea drink. You lean back against the apricot tree's trunk, feeling the rough bark against your spine. The tree is old, its trunk thick and sturdy, marked by decades of growth and weather. Like the tradition of Persian poetry itself, rooted deeply, growing slowly, enduring through all seasons. The garden around you seems to pulse with life, the fountain murmuring its ancient song, the roses releasing their perfume, the jasmine petals drifting down like blessings. All of it a living poem that you are part of, a verse in the eternal song of beauty and peace. You open the book one more time to a final passage about the gift of morning, how each dawn brings new possibilities, new chances to see the world with fresh eyes, new opportunities to find the sacred in the ordinary. The words settle into your mind like seeds in fertile soil. You know they will grow there, slowly, quietly, eventually blooming into new understanding. The book, the garden, the perfect piece of this moment. You close the book gently and place it on the table beside the empty tea glass. The morning's reading is complete, but its effects will last throughout the day. The words working their quiet magic in the depths of your consciousness. The apricot tree's leaves whisper above you, and you feel the deep contentment that comes from time well spent, from attention fully given. From the simple pleasure of sharing tea and poetry with the garden's gentle presence, you breathe deeply, taking in the jasmine-scented air, the rose perfume, the fresh green smell of growing things. All of it a reminder that paradise is not a distant place, but a quality of attention, a way of being present to the beauty that surrounds us always. The morning sun climbs toward its zenith, and you know that soon it will be time to move, to continue the day's gentle rhythm. But for now, you simply sit beneath the apricot tree, surrounded by the whispered wisdom of ancient poetry, held in the embrace of the garden's eternal peace. Your eyelids grow heavy, not with sleep, but with the weight of perfect contentment. The tea has warmed your body, the poetry has nourished your soul, and the garden has provided the perfect sanctuary for both. The same sanctuary that Persian poets have sought for centuries and found in moments exactly like this one. The jasmine petals continue to fall, each one a small blessing, a reminder that beauty exists in the most ephemeral moments. The tea service sits empty, but still fragrant. The book rests closed, but still resonant with meaning. And you remain peaceful and present, breathing in the eternal gift of morning beneath the jasmine sky. Chapter 5: Drifting to Sleep by the Garden Wall. The afternoon light has softened now, grown golden and warm as honey, casting long shadows across the garden paths. The sun begins its slow descent toward the western horizon, painting the sky in shades of amber and rose that mirror the colors of the Persian miniatures you studied in your youth. You gather your tea service slowly, each movement deliberate and peaceful. The empty glass still holds the faint aroma of rosewater and mint, a lingering reminder of the afternoon's simple pleasure. You carry the delicate pieces back to your writing desk, where they will rest until tomorrow's ritual begins again. The poem you wrote this morning lies on the desk, the ink now completely dry, the words set permanently in the flowing script that connects you to centuries of Persian poets. The lantern beside the desk has burned down to a gentle glow, its flame smaller but still steady, still casting its warm light over your writing space. You blow out the lantern gently, watching the small flame dance once before disappearing into the twilight. The smoke rises in a thin spiral, carrying with it the essence of the day's creative work. The same smoke that has risen from countless lamps in countless gardens where poets have worked their quiet magic. The garden around you is beginning its evening transformation. The jasmine flowers that were merely fragrant during the day now release their perfume more intensely, preparing for the night when they will bloom most fully. The same jasmine that Persian poets called the stars of earth, reflecting the heavens in their pure white petals. You walk slowly toward the back wall of the garden, where the old stone has been softened by centuries of climbing vines. Here, against the wall, a carpet has been spread. The same carpet that was woven by nomadic tribes who understood the art of making any place into a home. The carpet is thick and soft, its geometric patterns seeming to contain the wisdom of the steppes, roses blooming in endless spirals, cypress trees reaching toward infinity. All of it woven in colors that have deepened with age into something richer than new brightness. You settle onto the carpet, your back against the stone wall, feeling the day's warmth still radiating from the rocks. The wall was built by craftsmen who understood that stone could be both protection and beauty. Its surface carved with the traditional motifs that have adorned Persian gardens for 1,000 years. From this position, you can see the entire garden spread before you. The fountain at the center still playing its gentle music, the channels of water catching the last light of day, the rose beds releasing their evening perfume. All of it a living mandala of beauty and peace. The light continues to change, growing warmer, more golden. The same light that illuminated the miniature paintings of Persian masters, where every detail was rendered with the precision of love, where every color was chosen to create harmony with the whole. You close your eyes and listen to the garden's evening song, different from the morning's music, deeper somehow, more mysterious. The water still flows through its channels, but the sound seems to carry farther in the cooling air. The leaves still rustle in the breeze, but their whispers speak of rest and renewal. A nightingale begins to sing from the pomegranate tree, its voice liquid and sweet, carrying the melody that Persian poets have celebrated for centuries. The bird that Hafez wrote about as the lover of the rose, the creature whose song expresses the soul's longing for divine beauty. You open your eyes to see the first fireflies beginning to appear, tiny lights blinking on and off among the flowers, like stars that have descended to earth to dance in your garden. Each flash of light, a small miracle, a reminder that beauty often appears in the most delicate forms. The fireflies move through the twilight air with purposeful grace, their light creating patterns that seem almost like writing, as if they are spelling out messages in a language older than words, the same language that Persian mystics sought to understand, the vocabulary of light and darkness, presence and absence. You watch the fireflies with the same attention you brought to your morning writing, letting their dance become a meditation. Each point of light, a single thought. Each pattern, a verse in the poem of evening. The same patient observation that Persian poets brought to all phenomena. Seeing the sacred in the seemingly ordinary. The jasmine flowers above you are opening more fully now, their white petals unfurling like tiny cups designed to hold moonlight. The fragrance grows stronger, more intoxicating, filling the air with sweetness that seems to bypass the nose and enter directly into the soul. You breathe deeply, letting the jasmine perfume fill your lungs, your bloodstream, your entire being. This is the scent that Persian poets wrote about as the breath of paradise, the fragrance that opens the heart to beauty, that prepares the spirit for the mysteries of night. The sky darkens gradually, the way the finest Persian silk changes color as you move it in the light. From gold to rose to purple to deep blue. Each transition so subtle that you can't quite see it happening, only notice that it has happened. The same way consciousness moves between waking and dreaming. You feel your body relaxing more deeply against the stone wall, the day's gentle activities having prepared you for this moment of complete rest. The writing of poetry, the walking in the garden, the drinking of tea, all of it a slow spiral toward this perfect peace. The fountain's sound grows more prominent as other sounds fade. Its steady rhythm, like a heartbeat, like breathing, like the pulse of existence itself. The water that began as snow on distant mountains traveled through underground channels, emerged in your garden, and now returns to the earth, completing the eternal cycle. You think of the day's verses, how they captured something essential about the morning's beauty, how they now exist independently of the moment that inspired them, ready to carry the garden's peace to other hearts, other minds, other moments when beauty is needed. The fireflies continue the silent dance, their light growing brighter as the sky darkens. You begin to feel as if you are floating, suspended between earth and sky, between the stone wall at your back and the infinite space above. The same suspension that Persian mystics described as the threshold between the material and spiritual worlds. Your breathing deepens, becomes more rhythmic, matching the garden's own breath, the way it inhales the night air, exhales the day's accumulated warmth, the same rhythm that governs the movement of stars, the growth of flowers, the writing of poetry. The jasmine petals continue to fall, each one a small blessing, a gentle benediction for the day that is ending. They land on your shoulders, on your hands, on the carpet around you, covering you with the garden's love, wrapping you in the perfume of peace. You feel your eyelids growing heavy, not with tiredness, but with the weight of complete contentment, the same heaviness that Persian poets described as the gravity of grace, the way the soul settles into its natural state of peace when surrounded by beauty. The night breeze begins to stir, cooler than the day's warmth, carrying with it the scents of all the garden's flowers: jasmine and rose, mint and basil, the green smell of growing things, the mineral scent of water over stone. All of it blending into the unique atmosphere of this place, this moment, this perfect transition from day to night. The stars begin to appear, first one, then another. Then suddenly the whole sky is alive with points of light. The same stars that guided Persian caravans across the desert, that inspired poets to write about the eternal journey of the soul, that continue to shine over gardens like this one throughout the Persian world. You feel yourself becoming part of the garden's eternal rhythm. Your breath joining the wind's breath. Your heartbeat joining the fountain's pulse. Your thoughts joining the silent communication between flowers and stars. The boundary between self and garden, between observer and observed, begins to dissolve. The firefly's light grows more enchanting, more hypnotic, as if they are weaving a spell of sleep around you. Their dance becomes a lullaby of light, a visual melody that soothes the nervous system, prepares the mind for the peace of deep rest. You close your eyes again, and the garden continues around you. The fountain still playing, the jasmine still blooming, the fireflies still dancing, all of it holding you in its embrace, protecting your rest, blessing your dreams. The stone wall at your back radiates the last of the day's warmth, like a gentle hand supporting you. The carpet beneath you is soft as cloud, as comfortable as the finest silk. The jasmine perfume grows stronger, more present, as if the flowers are singing you to sleep. Your thoughts begin to drift, like the petals that float on the water channels, moving slowly, without direction, carried by currents deeper than consciousness. This is the state Persian poets called the threshold of mysteries, the place where inspiration comes from, where dreams are born. The night sounds begin, different from the day's symphony, more subtle, more mysterious. The distant call of an owl, the soft splash of a frog in the fountain, the whisper of night-blooming flowers opening their petals. All of it a lullaby, composed by the garden itself. You feel your body sinking deeper into the carpet, as if you are being absorbed into the earth itself, becoming part of the garden's living fabric. The same earth that nourishes the roses, that feeds the jasmine, that holds the water channels, that supports the ancient trees. The firefly's dance becomes more distant, more dreamlike, as if they are fireflies in a story, in a poem, in a dream that began long ago and will continue long after you have joined the sleep of the garden. The same eternal sleep that Persian poets wrote about as the return to the source. The jasmine petals continue to fall, more gently now, like snow made of perfume, covering you with the garden's blessing. Each petal a small prayer, a whispered wish for peaceful rest. The same blessing that Persian gardens have offered to weary travelers for centuries. You feel yourself floating, suspended between earth and sky, between waking and sleeping, between the day's memories and the night's dreams. The garden holds you in its ancient embrace, the same embrace that has welcomed poets and mystics, seekers and dreamers, all who have found refuge in beauty. The ink you used this morning has dried completely now. The words set permanently on the page, ready to carry the garden's peace to other hearts, other moments, other dawns when beauty will be needed. The same way the garden itself carries forward the ancient tradition of Persian paradise, of earth made sacred through attention and love. Your eyelids grow heavier, the weight of perfect peace settling over you like a blanket woven from jasmine petals. The fountain's music becomes a lullaby. The firefly's light becomes a gentle glow behind your closed eyelids. The jasmine perfume becomes the very air you breathe. And slowly, peacefully, you feel yourself drifting toward sleep. Not the sleep of exhaustion, but the sleep of completion, of a day well lived, of time well spent in the company of beauty. The same sleep that Persian poets praised as the rehearsal for the soul's final journey home. The garden continues around you, eternal and patient. The fountain still flowing, the jasmine still blooming, the fireflies still dancing their ancient dance. All of it a living prayer, a constant meditation on the mystery of existence, the beauty that surrounds us always, if we have eyes to see. The night breeze carries the scent of jasmine more strongly now, as if the flowers are offering their most precious gift, their evening benediction, the same scent that will greet you tomorrow morning when the cycle begins again, when the garden offers its daily miracle of renewal. Your breath becomes as quiet as the movement of petals on water, as gentle as the first light of dawn, as peaceful as the eternal rhythm that connects all moments, all gardens, all hearts that have ever found rest in beauty. The jasmine sky spreads above you, infinite and welcoming, holding space for all dreams, all hopes, all the quiet prayers that rise from gardens like this one. The same sky that has blessed Persian poets for centuries, that continues to shine over all who seek peace in the simple beauty of flowers, water, stone, and the eternal dance of light and shadow. And finally, surrounded by the garden's love, breathing in the scent of jasmine, listening to the fountain's ancient psalm, you drift into the deep, restful sleep that comes to those who have spent their day in the company of beauty, in the service of peace, in the eternal garden of the heart. The fireflies continue their dance. The jasmine continues to bloom. The fountain continues to flow. And you rest, held in the embrace of the garden's infinite tenderness, breathing in paradise, breathing out gratitude, sleeping the sleep of the blessed beneath the jasmine sky. And now, the jasmine petals rest, the ink has dried, and the breeze no longer speaks. If this journey brought you even a moment of peace, we invite you to leave a gentle like. And if you'd like to return beneath the jasmine sky, you're welcome to subscribe. May your night be soft, your heart be still, and your dreams drift quietly